Hello everyone, and welcome to Kentucky Kingdom in what is a Saturday here in the South. Or is it the South? I don't even know. Kentucky, it has to be. It's good to be back. Regardless, we're at a park for the first time, which is of course Kentucky Kingdom. Here to ride all 6, hopefully, of the roller coasters that they have on offer here. But more specifically, what's going through its test run right now, we're going to get right on because the majority of the people in the park here are lined up for it already. So we might as well get our run on Lightning Run. It also has a very exciting RMC that is one of the earliest, known as Storm Chaser, on the other side of the park. There is an SLC here, unfortunately, and also another wood coaster that also unfortunately has a very similar layout, if not identical to Hurler, that was originally at, well, it's at Carowinds, it was originally at King's Dominion as well. Pretty small park, so it won't be a huge vlog today, but we will get as much as we can here in a Kentucky Kingdom for the few hours that we're here today. All right, here we go. Kentucky Kingdom. First time on first drop. Okay, Lightning Run is done, so I figured I'd give my first impressions before I forget them. I'm going to definitely come back for another ride. That was a solid coaster that I heard a lot of good things about, and all of them are true. Very smooth, excellent use of... Everyone seems to be just in this area for Lightning Rod and re-riding it, so I think that a lot of people have come here earlier today to actually get on it with a lot of re-rides before, say, going off to their next spot, which is probably the same spot I'm going to. Fantastic ride. Love that S-bend, or that like double S-bend almost, at the end of the course. Low to the ground, lots of speed. Really just a lot of popper ejector airtime. And a very kind of weird setup on a ride that I've never been on before. I think this is unique to its type. I'll do a little bit more research on RCDB and find out for my second review. Excellent ride, can't wait to get on to it again, but we're gonna explore the park now. Never been here before, So let's wander about. I did notice also that some of the rides in the back recesses don't even have anybody on them yet. There's ride ops waiting for people to ride. So we're gonna go do that now. This is a very unique park in the sense that it has a road that runs through it, of which there's this bridge that goes across it, which we're doing now, but as you'll notice with the plane in the background, there is a UPS depot here. I believe the hub for UPS is in this city, but regardless, we gotta go across this bridge as the park is divided into two sections. We're just heading out of the kids area now, which is not too busy today, which is probably indicative of how busy the park will be. There is also a junior league football game going on next door to these grounds, so that's why it's probably so dead right now, but may pick up later today. Beautiful looking park though, I'll give it that. This car ride looks nice. This park is located in the Convention Center grounds, which is a sprawling complex, which also includes Churchill Downs, where the Kentucky Derby is held. So it's really all here, and obviously a massive airport has to be right next door too. So yeah, this is a very unique amusement park. More of a fairground that's been converted into a permanent operation, as everybody that knows the history of the park already knows. There's a car going around. A big part of this park is Hurricane Bay, which as you can tell is closed. What isn't closed, or at least I hope it's not, because if it is, I'll be quite upset, is Storm Chaser, which is not that. I believe T3 is closed, however, because I have not seen it go through the track at any point. I'm not going to say I'm upset about that, because you know, I'm not desperate to add to my SLC collection. I got 300 credits last night, so I'm not in a race for credits quite as much as I was, say, earlier in the year. But yeah, so we're just going to enjoy ourselves here at a park. And unfortunately, on a Saturday, a very nice, balmy Saturday, it's completely empty. I like the title Aruba Tuba, though. Aruba Tuba! I'm getting the strong impression that after the game is done, everyone's going to be coming over here post-game. So I may have timed this out perfectly, as I'm probably only going to do one cycle of the park, go back to Lightning Run. This is a Gravity Craft wooden creation, the latest to debut at Kentucky Kingdom, and only 48 feet high with a 44-foot drop. So it's not anything crazy, but it's been well reviewed and received as one of the best new wooden coasters in America.
We are almost ready here on the flight deck. We have a couple of items to flight deck. Let's hear in the cockpit.
Kentucky Flyer, all done, 4 consecutive rides, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. It was a decent ride from Gravity Craft, but those Timberliner trains, ooh, I don't like them at all. It's only the second time I've encountered them. The first time would be at Fun Spot Orlando on White Lightning. Yeah, they're just not good, are they? They're horrible, they're awful. They're just like the most disruptive, cumbersome. And for a ride that's so small, like Kentucky Flyer is, it doesn't really make sense that they have quite so overly compensating restraint system, or overly compensating restraint system, if I can get that off my tongue. I enjoyed the ride. It was definitely way better in the back than the front. A lot of ejector airtime in the back for sure. Felt a bit janky though, I will say, for a ride that's only a couple of years old. It did remind me a lot of, say, the Fun Spot wood coasters, and kind of like their conditioning over time. Yeah, if you told me that this ride was over 10 years old, I wouldn't have been surprised. Anyhow, we're gonna go on Skycatcher now, this Star Flyer behind me. You know, I do enjoy these rides, even though they terrify me sometimes. But this time we're gonna give it a go. Gives you a good vantage point of the actual park. There's a lot of like tailgating going on today, so we're gonna check that out. I won't be able to take you on, but we'll see you when we get off. We're done our little excursion here in the Kentucky Kingdom Enclave, the Flying Enclave, because Skycatcher there, I think that was more of a Kentucky Flyer to me. Anyhow, I really actually am not too... I don't do water parks that often when I come to amusement parks, but I will say that that drop slide is unbelievably high, and I do love those slides. So if I do come back here anytime soon, I'm gonna have to get on that. So now, having finished that little section of the park to the left of Hurricane Bay, we're gonna go underneath the bridge that we actually entered this side of the park on to get to the other side, to get to Storm Chaser, which hopefully is open. It's the only other ride that I'm really desperate to get onto here. But as I said, there are a couple of other credits. There's T3, which has not run a single time since I've been observing it, nor has any other coaster from what I've been able to see from, say, Skycatcher's vantage point. So let's hope for staggered operations, maximum credits. I love the look of this restaurant, Bayou Cafe. It looks beautiful. Unfortunately, I'm only going to have to look at it because it's not open. I don't know if American Coaster Enthusiasts is headlined in Kentucky, or headquartered in Kentucky, but we have this great board featuring some of Kentucky Kingdom's contributions to roller coaster history, which is not much, unfortunately. Lightning Run, Thunder Run, which is not running, and that'll be that, right? But it's very cool that they have this up here regardless. Featuring a lot of other attractions. 2014 is when Lightning Run opened. The Lightning Run was a very significant ride because it indicated the resilience of the owners of Kentucky Kingdom to bring this park back from the brinks of non-existing ever again. Which is kind of good because if you just take into account this classic carousel, it's quite a contraption. It has clearly a lot of history to it. Thunder Run is now running in the background, which is a good sign too. So it looks like we're gonna get on there too. This is the old carousel. This is a French carousel built in Alger, from what it looks like, although it has other distinctive locations indicated on its banner. Probably different locations it's traveled to. We got roller skater here though, and it's a credit. I'm gonna see if I can get it. Stay tuned. Just finished roller skater here, 2 consecutive rides. It's funny because no sooner than I decided to go on it, it had not run, I don't think, the whole day, and I got a full train as an entire group actually ran for the ride just as I got here. That's always the way it is here with First Drop, isn't it? Anyhow, it was a pretty good ride, to be honest. It's just a family roller coaster at the end of the day, which oddly enough, I've not really been on other than Flight of the Hippogriff, I believe is the easiest comparison to this particular ride. Thunder Run is running behind me, no pun intended, so we're gonna run onto it, and then I'll probably do this carousel after, because it's pretty old, so yeah, it definitely has a lot of character. A pipe organ inside. It's a bunch of flying clogs on the Flying Dutchman. I love it. I'm loving the theming here, or at least in this particular section of the park. Clogs. We'll be in Holland in a matter of 4 weeks' time. This park is very unusual in how it's laid out. So you got like, it just feels like a bunch of interconnected like roads and paths and service areas. In order to get to Storm Chaser, you got to go down there, which we obviously are going to be doing next. However, T3 and these rides, Kentucky Flyer, Skycatcher, I'm not really sure how you're going to get to Kentucky Flyer from this side. Maybe you'd have to go through the water park, which isn't open today anyway. We're going to find out as we get to Thunder Run. There really is only one Thunder Run as far as I'm concerned, although the logo is very similar to the Thunder Run that I know well at home. Okay, well that was 2 rides in a row on Thunder Run, front to back. Whew. Okay, well that wasn't a bad ride. It actually was pretty decent coaster. Way better than Hurler, or so I remembered Hurler back in the day when I rode it in 2018. That's a long time ago, and that's nor here nor there, but this thing really holds the speed throughout to a point where it's almost like unnerving. It is super janky as well, which is why I'm presuming it doesn't show up on many best lists, or any at all. But is it a bad coaster? Certainly not. Compared to my ride on Grizzly earlier this year at King's Dominion, I'd rate this much higher for one of these older classic sort of wooden coasters that's all about speed, low to ground profiling, and you know, not overbank turns, but just sort of like an old classic design. Really good ride. Gotta give it high marks, really. yeah, doesn't show up very much elsewhere in the world as far as wood coaster enthusiasts, but at the same time, I wouldn't say I did not like it. I would not say it's an amazing ride by any stretch of the imagination, don't get me wrong. And will I go on it again? No, I won't. Because I've got a record amount of wood coasters to get through today, so I won't be doing that again. We only have one credit left to do today as T3 is indeed closed, your SLC, so I don't get to add one to the collection. That's sad. Obviously, I'm not really too perturbed over that because Storm Chaser, the ride that I'm really here for, is open. This is a rebuild of a former wood coaster on the property, Twisted Sisters. It did not have that long of a life, so oddly enough they decided to RMC this baby right out of the gate early in its history. Coaster conversions, this being a smaller coaster. This coaster kind of dates after the initial Cyclone conversions. It's going to be an exciting ride, as all RMCs are. Very looking forward to it. It's one that's not talked about that often, so whether or not that is reflective of its overall ride experience, well, I'll finally find out now. Storm Chaser. For Storm Chaser here. Very impressive RMC, but they're all really impressive. So with that in mind, I might say that this is one of the more underwhelming RMCs. Maybe it's because I've been on Steel Vengeance only a day ago that that sort of offsets the impact of this ride. Probably my favorite part of the ride is that 100-foot barrel roll that it starts with. It's hard to pick a favorite feature of this ride because it reminds me of Twisted Timbers in the sense of like how focused it is on kind of projecting you out of your seat. So there's a ton of airtime hills on the ride, and it also features an element very similar to what you find with Untamed at Wallaby Holland, which I'm excited to say that I will be finally trying for the first time later on this year. 3 rides done now, and the front, or second from front. I'm really kind of satisfied with being second from front now with the amount of people that line up for the front seat and how frustrating that extra weight can be. What's the point? You pretty much get the same view second from front. So that's what I did. And it was a good ride. Storm Chaser behind me. But I've only done 3 rides on it. I'm actually going to leave now to get back to the front of the park to get on Lightning Run for one more ride at least before I leave the park for the day. So yeah, Storm Chaser was a great ride. Probably the best ride here by default. But Lightning Run was decent as well. And they have a great Woody coaster in Kentucky Flyer. So a nice little package of rides here, and all adult focused outside of Roller Skater, which is kind of nice. For, you know, coming to a park like this that has a small selection of rides, you kind of really hope that for your $100, as it costs today, you get your value's worth with parking that costs $100 overall. Canadian, I will say, not American. There are deals available online. However, in these amusement parks kind of want you to automatically sign up for their respective websites, which I'm just not too big of a fan of. So I pay the extra money just so I didn't have to deal with that. All right, we're gonna go back to the front of the park. We'll do Lightning Run one more time, and then we'll wrap up the vlog. Don't have time for the carousel today, regretfully, but I have a feeling it'll probably be here the next time I come. One thing we can do, however, is do the most unique experience here at Kentucky Kingdom. A crosswalk. There's a way to get across the road. There's two. There's a bridge, and then you can also take the crosswalk directly across, walk in a crosswalk. As you can see, the crossing. I don't know if it's, yeah, we could probably make this crossing. Just crossing, as you can see, crossing the street. These are actually pretty good rides, so I might sneaky this in. We also have the 5D massive soundstage here. I wish there is a 5D movie, which I'm not really about. It is a big building, though, I will give it that. 5D cinema. Scream Extreme.
Oh yeah, you're done. You're done.
They're really the heir apparent of Enterprises, aren't they, those Zamperlas? It's a good ride. Took a little bit of time to get on, but I'm not too worried. It's not busy here today, which means it's probably not going to be busy at the park that I'm going to after this as well. Just finished my second run on Lightning Run. How many runs will I use or reference in this vlog? There's a lot of running going around as far as ride names are concerned. The first ever GTX hyper coaster. Quite a great ride. Went to the back again. Fortunately not going to get as front seat ride as I do need to make my way out of here. That diving airtime hill that changes direction to lead into the S-bend as part of the end of the ride. What a fantastic finale. It's a great ride. I will not lie. The expectations were high based on folklore or just rumor, and it is excellent. It's probably one of the best rides in the region, if not the best ride in this park for sure. Sorry, Storm Chaser, it just seems to be the case. Lightning Run has just edged you slightly with surprising results. It is time to wrap up the vlog here. I just finished up with a ride on Fearfall because I kind of wanted to get that drop tower in, and I'm glad I did because whew, that was an intense one. It drops you as soon as you get to the top with 0 countdown. It was quite, if you don't watch a cycle and you go right on it, although if you're watching this, that'll spoil it too, but definitely caught me by surprise. Crazy forceful, and the braking doesn't even start until I'd say about 10 meters from the bottom. Quite a shot tower, or drop tower, so if you want to try something a little off kilter from the coaster selection that you do here, that would be Fearfall. That'll be it for our day here at Kentucky Kingdom. I was not disappointed. If you're planning on coming to this park and you're planning on maybe doing a half day, it's totally doable on one of these slower days. It's Saturday though, and I managed to get every single credit in. Re-rides on all of them. I'm very satisfied. I don't know when I'll be back at this park, but it does look like they're pretty aggressive at getting new attractions here as soon as they can, which could only bode well for the future. Had a great day. Unfortunately, I do have a short time here, but I did get a couple of flats in as well. It's a nice little park, definitely a half day for any adults, I'd say. On a slower day. If it was busier, you definitely would get the feel, or you would definitely need the time to actually spend an entire day here. But fortunately, I don't need that, and I'm off to another park, which if you know your geography, you'll know where it is. So stay tuned for that vlog. Anyway, that's a wrap up. That's Kentucky Kingdom. A couple of great rides here. For a lot of parks that struggle to get any good rides in, it's surprising that for a park that has struggled over the, say, last decade or the decade prior to this, that they managed to put it all together into a nice tight little package with fairly limited space here in Kentucky, downtown Louisville. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Always enjoy, do all those things that I say I never do and I'd ask you to do, but you know, it's appreciated nonetheless. Appreciate you watching. Always enjoy.